Hello everyone and welcome to the final first round game between Cambridge and ICL tournament sponsored by MMOCircles. Joining me today, I'm Samuel Sylvester, joining me is Roland the Troll. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. Yep. Ready to cast some games, and hopefully they'll be a bit closer than some of the other
Yeah,
matches
hopefully
we've
there'll
had.
be less one-sided. This is Cambridge, the Cambridge team. See you later, Alligator versus ICL's Icy Monkeys. Now, Icy Monkeys is the best team in ICL by far, I've heard, whereas this is only the second team from Cambridge. Well, we think we haven't actually played against each other this season, who haven't really had much practice. So we're definitely expecting an ICL victory today, aren't we?
Yeah. But I think Cambridge will they'll try to even up the score to two Cambridge, two Imperial, so that it's even going into the semi-finals, and it'll be a bit more exciting that way. And yeah, okay, we've just popped into
Okay,
Champion
yeah,
Select
we've
now.
got to Champion Select. So
Okay. Don't know really what to expect in terms of bans. I guess we'll have a better idea.
yeah, we
Um,
do we do have the op GGs of each team open, so we should be able to see whether the team's done their research. I would hope, especially because we had an issue a few days ago where even the lower skilled teams were still not doing their research and were just doing standard meta bans rather than target bans.
yeah.
Sejuani
Okay.
is kind of a meta ban, but probably
Yeah.
also a target
Probably
ban for
played by
yeah.
the jungler as well.
And we're
Yeah,
having a
that is
Kha'Zix
actually
ban.
a targeted ban, the Kha'Zix. Cambridge's jungler does play carry junglers, so that car has they've done some research into that.
Yeah, so I've got some interesting information about the top laner from Cambridge, Devil Panda 555. His name's Alex, and as far as I'm aware, he's a two-trick pony, Zack and Heimeninger. Well, in
Oh,
fact, he actually bans
that's
Zack
very interesting.
himself, so that's a surprise. I wonder why they've done that.
Maybe they want to first pick Heimerdinger, but it still seems weird to ban it second and not maybe wait to see if the other team bans it. Because if they've done their research, then I don't know. That seems like an odd ban for them.
So we've been told that the jungler from Icy Monkeys actually is a big Zack player, so maybe he's going to rely on the Heimerdinger, or unless he's just been practicing a new champion. We'll see what Devil Panda can pick out. He was on the first team, so see you later, Alligators is the first team from Cambridge last year, and we'll so we're going to see how they've progressed because we had some new players come and move join the two teams.
And so far, so they won't go with a third targeted ban against the jungler. They'll finally ban Zaya, which is also, I think, played by the Cambridge AD carry, and it is a Heimerdinger first pick, so that does make sense with
Is the Heimerdinger first
the
pick?
two
Well,
trick.
the
That'll
two-trick
make
Heimerdinger Zack. Now, I'm actually quite a fan of this Heimerdinger pick. In terms of the skill matchups, the Plat versus Diamond, we are expecting Icy Monkeys to win all the lanes in terms of individual mechanics, so the Heimerdinger is a pick which really will not have been practiced against, so could be an interesting
yeah.
cheese.
And oh, they hover the Azir, but then go for the Braum. I do like the Azir. It's still really strong, even though it did get nerfed in 8.3 with some cooldowns.
Yeah, the
But
nerf. Yeah,
it is still like an A tier mid lane pick.
yeah, the nerf really affects the laning and just the annoyingness to play against his ear. In terms of overall strength of the champion, it's not going to really affect the win rate.
He'll still get
so
to
much.
that late game where he can just destroy everyone, and especially if they pick Nunu. Nunu and Azir synergize really well with the new Nunu buffs to his W. So for those of you who don't know, Nunu's W recently got changed, so it now gives AP and attack speed, which just go like perfectly with Azir's kit. So I think that right now Cambridge, they don't have another ban, so they either have to
Yeah,
pick
I'm
Azir or I
thinking.
think give Azir over.
I'm actually going to think they're going to pick the jungler. Yeah, here we go. The Shivan's locked in. I know that Yonderan is very much a carry style jungler. He would like to be on the strong champions. He wants to get his pick in the right.
And here
order.
I would expect the Azir to be picked in before the next phase of bans. Just firstly because they hovered it, and secondly because it goes so well with the Nunu. And I think it does. It's pretty even with the Orianna. It's a lot of wave clearing.
We've got most of the bot lane open still to come. We're going to see a round of ADC bans. I'm expecting here. There's the Azir, as you said.
There it is. Yeah.
Now, what bot lane bans are we expecting here? If we look at the players, we have Jinx and Varus being played a lot by these players. But other than that, we've got a Lucian on the side of. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong player. Milkador, I believe, is the ADC. Yeah, Milkador is the ADC. So I think he's an all-rounder. So I'm not even sure if we're going to see the ADC bans or we're just going to see. Supports probably I would go with in this situation. Yeah, we've got the Tarek.
It's a tag ban, and we still got the top and 80 carry for Imperial. So maybe we'll see some top lane bans here against Jez.
Now we have already got the Braum out of Imperial, and as you can see from See You Later Alligators Orianna and Shyvana. There's quite a strong engage combo, not really synergizing with the Heimerdinger there.
Okay, that's so it is a top lane ban. Jez probably does play some Riven. I assume that's not just a random Riven ban.
Yeah, we don't normally see the Riven ban and the Janna, which is very interesting. I wouldn't have picked Janna on the side of Cambridge just due to the lack of. I mean, we don't really have it. We have Braum for the engage, but Janna is generally a disengaged and a very defensive champion against this team of Azir, Braum, Nunu. You're gonna be jumping on them as much as possible. Janna is not who I'd expect Cambridge to pick there.
And our last band's about to come in.
And we see that we've been told that Jez actually is a Riven one trick, got to master with it, his trademark champion, so that is the definite target ban. Interesting that I guess ban. I would have, if I had known he was master on it, I would ban him in first rotation rather than second rotation. Guess they didn't. And he's an all-rounder. If he got to master on Riven, he can play diamond on anyone. We're going to see the general. Oh, I'd be very surprised if they picked in Vayne here. That would be a risky move, especially against the Heimerdinger with the short. You can't avoid the Heimerdinger short range, and it is Vayne locked in.
That's quite a short range carry. I mean, they do have Azir, I guess, for a long.
They have the Azir, but Vayne's going to really struggle in these team fights versus the Orianna and Heimerdinger.
Exactly. I think if the Shyvana can just get in all of them and then get an Orianna shockwave, that can be dangerous.
And Heimerdinger just puts a tower down and will just destroy the Vayne, the short range.
And Varus also a good pick. That's gonna. They should try to catch some people with the ult. He's really strong now because of that, and also just he's got high base damage.
Oh, Lulu is again good with the ulti synergize, but they're really relying all on the engage here. They don't have a particularly tanky lineup here with just the Shyvana, which again is not necessarily a problem against the Vayne. I think a Vayne is actually a very poor choice against this team. We have Vayne's good at taking out tanks, very good at outplaying the short range, but then you're against the Heimerdinger. The only person she's really going to be able to deal with is the Shyvana, and even then, with the combination of the Lulu ult and the Orianna, it's going to be a struggle for the Vayne.
And it's a Sion final pick, so we'll have Sion versus Heimerdinger in the top lane.
Sion versus Heimerdinger in the top lane. A lane matchup everyone, I'm sure, is experienced with. We see it all the time in... some solo queue games anyway.
I'm
sure
ones that
someone's played it.
So
what we do know is that Devil Panda is definitely more experienced in the matchup than Jez will be.
Yeah, I think if we look at the bottom lane as well, the Varus Lulu has really much better laning, I'd say, and they can push in because Varus has good wave clearance, so does Lulu actually. So I think Vayne and Braum will be under the turret for quite a bit in the early game.
Certainly the bot lane for Imperial is going to have some trouble. I think throughout the entire game we have the Braum with the Unbreakable, which can block some of the Heimerdinger's missiles, but that's and I guess the Varus poke as well, but that's about it. There's no Nami ult to cancel out. There's no really effective things for the Braum shield to be doing. There's no one ready to lock up. You see the Braum passive, is it Bravado? Something like that. No, that's Tarek. What's the Braum passive called?
It's Concussive Blows, is it?
Concussive Blows, there we go, yeah. The Braum Concussive Blows, you'd expect to be... it's very effective against those ADCs, those ones that are hard to lock down, but when you have the Varus who's at long range, who's not going to be getting into range of the Braum, again, the Shyvana is going to be attempted to be taken down by the Vayne and Braum combo, but with the Orianna and Lulu, that is going to be a futile effort, I feel, as long as it doesn't get super behind. And I know that Yonduran is a very good player. He's not likely to get behind. If his lane is loose, he's going to farm and then try and carry later. He's not the type to sacrifice himself for his team.
Okay. And if we look at the Varus, if he's able to snowball the lead in the bottom lane, which he should have, I think, against the Vayne, he's got a Lulu to protect him. He's got an Orianna as well with the shields and speed ups, so he could really pop up in team fights. So if he gets ahead, that's pretty dangerous for Imperial.
Yeah, certainly. Now, the only interesting thing will be how the Heimerdinger works in the team comp from See You Later Alligators, because we have the amazing initiate with the Orianna ball, the Lulu ult, and the Shyvana ult. Then where's the follow-up from that? Varus, again, can ult, but it's not a short rate, he's not a hyper carry, we're going to have a lot of bursts. Generally, then we see some sort of bruise will then come in and help with the fight, but Heimerdinger is going to be left behind a bit by the engage.
Yeah. Not really too much mobility, and he likes to fight in his turrets. You see all these highlight clips of just Heimerdingers getting ganked and then getting double kills because people fight in his turrets. But if his team is the one engaging, he kind of has to, go forward, only walk forward. He doesn't have any really mobility. Put down his turret, so he'll be a bit less useful than maybe a different pick. But yeah. Anyway, do you think we'll see any level 1 shenanigans here?
Level 1
In
shenanigans, I
particular.
feel like Icy Monkeys might go for it just out of cockiness rather than out of intelligence. I
Hmm.
can't see Monkeys going for it. They don't really have any power level 1.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Brom's passive is quite strong because if you just land one Q with a few ranged auto attacks, you get that stun off.
Yeah.
But I think it's in both. I think both teams might just play it pretty standard.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching the chat's analysis of these champ picks. We're seeing some comments like the Cambridge team is only looking to siege, not engage. Now I'm not sure about that. Cambridge Varus is not a great. I mean, he's got a lot of poke, but short range auto attacks. They've got again a lot of engage with the Shyvana, Orion, Lulu, and the Heimerdinger is great at split pushing, but the siege against it in Azir is not great. Azir will be able to deal with those Heimerdinger towers very easily.
And I really think that Imperial did win the draft just because they have Nunu Azir. That's just a really broken combo at the moment, and
Yeah,
the Azir will have a decent amount of peel. He's got protection from the Braum. He can peel. The Scion as well will be a huge meat shield in the front with just endless CC.
yeah.
Um,
But
and
again,
then I
if you
think,
get onto the Azir, it's going to be down to how well
yep,
See You Later Alligators can get onto the Azir with the amount
that's
of
true.
dives they have.
And then saying as well, I've talked a lot about the Azir Nunu synergy with the AP and attack speed, but it is, and move speed as well. It is still good with Vayne. Attack speed and move speed do synergize great. Her W, she'll get way more procs off. It's not a particularly tanky team on the side of Cambridge, so the W won't be doing that much, but it still does really help her in team fights, kite and get out damage.
Yeah, I am slightly questioning this Vayne pick. I would have preferred to see a Tristana or a Jinx maybe fitting in with the longer range of the rest of the team.
Okay, so looking at the runes here, I think everything is pretty normal. Oriana with Airy makes sense. Yeah, Brom's taken Ignite, so they might go for something early against the bot lane. Maybe because if they do get a kill, like sure they should, I think, get pushed in. But if they outplay them mechanically and do manage to get a kill, a Vayne can definitely snowball really hard.
Did we see a spellbook out of the Brawl?
No, I don't think that is.
We don't see a spellbook, and we have the Ignite. Interesting that I have not chosen an exhaust against the Shyvana. I always would have favoured that. I don't know how strong Shyvana is at the moment, but she certainly in the past has been unstoppable when she is just left to roam around. So we see the pings coming out, the defensive pings coming out from ICL, it seems. They are apparently scared of an engage.
Yeah, I think they might just be spreading out to cover all the entrances to the jungle here.
Yeah.
Just pretty standard level 1 stuff. They don't want anything too crazy to happen. And I think they kind of... They know that they might be the slightly better team in terms of mechanics in the 1v1. So, if stuff just goes to laning phase and late game and nothing crazy happens early, then they might be like confident.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in terms of the 1v1 mechanics, but we see the Oriana mid lane, usually a very safe choice, not going to be struggling too much against the Azir there. Again, the Heimerdinger, not only is the Heimerdinger quite a safe pick, you can stand back by your towers, but also Devil Panda is a one trick on this Heimerdinger, and Sion and Jez, who knows how experienced with dealing with it, and again with the bot lane, the Vayne's going to be pushed in by the Varus.
Yeah, I think the mid lane will be. Both champions have a good wave clear. Azir especially, I think he might have the edge early.
Yeah, and again, we don't have early game aggressive junglers. Shyvana and Nunu neither favour the super aggressive early game strats. We're not going to see, I don't think, too much action unless the laners from Imperial do end up just dominating the ones from Cambridge.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how aggressive this Nunu goes in terms of the counter jungle, because he obviously is really good at that with the consume, and he'll probably get a smiteless leash here. We'll see if he tries to steal any buffs.
I'm interested to see how this Nunu goes against Yonderon, because Yonderon is a very confident jungler. He's very confident in his ability to carry games. And we're going to see how well he does against a Nunu, who is a pain in the ass for a jungler.
Yeah, definitely. There's the saying that your job as Nunu is to make the other jungler as useless as you are. Because you don't really do much in terms of 1v1, but if you starve them and steal all their stuff, then they won't be too useful either. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in terms of item starts, I think everything here is pretty standard. Corrupting Potion by Scion top instead of maybe something like Doran's Shield.
I think over the course of this tournament we have seen this is the game with the fewest amount of fewest amount of stopwatches to start with.
Only
we have
three,
three in the entire game. I would definitely advocate that on the Azir to stop the early dives. And I'm so used to playing against people like Shyvana who take the early stopwatch and are great at just tower diving you early on. But it's worked out okay given that only Orianna and Lulu have the stopwatch, so it's not going to be too problem for the mid lane that he doesn't have himself.
And we do already see the Nunu trying to counter jungle. He's in the top side. He will be stealing away this scrum. But sort of Shyvana on the other hand, she's quite low health. Looking to just secure the rift catalyst. So
looking to just secure the rift. Yeah, seeing a bounce of wall, managing to avoid the Nunu so far.
Yeah. Is Nunu going to go for a gank top? Yeah. He does need to always be careful. There is a ward, so we'll see how Devil Panda plays it. Yeah, and he's going to just walk back, and that's very safe. And yeah, we also see bottom lane. That's a big wave there. So they have been able to get the push. They've hit level 3 earlier. They'll really just try to make the Vayne miss a lot of CS here. So we'll see if she can keep up after this big wave crashes and the numbers have evened up.
Yeah, and also when the point we're making about the Icy players having the better mechanics and expecting to favour these lane matchups, but then we have the Cambridge with the stronger lanes on paper, with the Heimerdinger and the Varus. We'll see how this plays out. Vayne has currently been taken quite low, 5 CS down. We're seeing a lot of this poke on the tower, and with the Nunu, when you pick the losing lane matchups as ICL have done, and then you also pick a jungle like Nunu who's again useless in the early game, except for objective taking. I'm not so sure this is a great idea on their part. I would have tried to exploit their individual mechanics, exploit the diamond level of the players, and just pick the winning lane matchups, maybe with an aggressive jungler, something like a Lee Sin or an Elise. Yeah,
and especially, you know, there is the argument.
We are seeing Devil Panda being taken quite low by the Scion. The Shyvana's looking towards the top side. We see lots of pings coming out. I'm not sure if she's going to go for it. Orianna being out-traded on the mid lane, but the CS is still even. Azir still has both potions up. We're looking towards the top side still. The other runner's looking potentially for a gank, but he stood right next to ward. I'm not sure if she was spotted. Meanwhile, Nunu's invading in the bot side.
Yeah. He's gotten some deep wards as well, which will help Azir just keep on pushing with the soldiers. There will be level 6 in a few waves for the mid lane. I think it's this cannon wave here, they'll get it. So we'll see if they want to roam and try to make any plays. Maybe Azir could go bottom lane and try to maybe take advantage of the fact that
with the winning
Cambridge has
been
been pushing up a lot.
Yeah, the winning mid lane is going to be a massive help for the bot lane of ICL, as currently Nunu's been ignoring them. Bot lane's been pushing up. Vayne is still down about 5 CS, has been taken quite low. Still both potions up for Milkydor, whereas the mid lane, no potion, still low health. We are going to see a fight. The concussive blow does land, the passive lands, Ignite has been put down.
Yeah.
But then nothing else seems to happen to this. Dear Darling's going to get another passive being procced, and then the aggression's going down. Stun from the knock-up on the Vayne, but we're going to see the heal comes out, flash as well. Milkydor's going to try and turn this around. Are we seeing the jungle? Shyvana and Nunu are both here. The heal comes out, flash comes out of mid, but Shyvana flashes in, the exhaust comes down on the Vayne. Are we going to see the first blood? It's going to be really close. First blood comes out for the Lulu. The broken stopwatch comes out and stops on the Braum. TP comes down from the Scion, killing the Shyvana. TP followed by the Heimerdinger, but slightly late. The ult comes out with the stun. And that is, in the end, what, a 2-for-1 on the side in favour of Cambridge.
Yeah, so a lot of summoners used there. All 8 summoners in the bot lane are now gone. And then obviously both top laners came in with their...
Oh, the snipe from Jez onto Milkydor. And the missing pings coming out of ICL. I was not expecting that. That took me by surprise.
Alright, so an even trade now and 2 kills onto the Scion. Maybe not the best person.
Yeah, not really. He won the kills on. But then again, one of the kills from Cambridge was onto the Luli, but another was onto Shyvana, and Yonder Runner with the Shyvana is going to be looking to make good use of that into the late game.
Yeah, definitely. And if we look at the mid lane, it's about a 10 CS lead to the Azir. which I think makes sense. He's been pushing in quite well, making it hard for the Orianna. Is she going to get this blue? She's not. So Yonderan's actually going to take the first blue buff. I think that probably would have helped Orianna quite a bit in this lane. So I don't know if I agree with that. And then also we see that
this is again fitting into the theme of the jungle style that I said Yonderan's going to have. Very much likes to be the solo carry. Doesn't want to give up his stuff. We'll see if he can make do with it.
Yeah. Also, while that was happening, Nunu just did his Nunu things and took the dragon. So that will be a mountain for Imperial. So
but we've seen again improvements being made compared to the previous Cambridge lineups of seeing the dragon being taken and immediately just rushing to desperately try to stop it. In this aspect, we saw the ward placement from the Shyvana was all the way around the top side, always did a Nunu gank in the bot side. Dear Darling's again a couple plays going to land. One more hit, Nunu flash things, and Dear Darling is going to be taken down. Not much they could do about that one. Probably wouldn't have flashed on the Nunu even in that situation.
Yeah, and that's just a good gank, I think. That Cambridge was just pushed up a bit too much. You always have to respect the Braum Q, because he's also just with the once the Nunu gets in range as well to land some E's, there's no really getting away from it, especially when you don't have summoners after that big bot lane fight. So Imperial takes advantage of that, and hopefully the Vayne can now stabilize. She has managed to keep pretty even in CS. There's not really a big disparity. So she's made it through the laning phase, hit level 6 first. I think this is actually a pretty decent outcome for the Vayne.
It is a good outcome, better than certainly it could have been. And we were looking at the vision control earlier when it seems Cambridge, instead of going to counter the vision on the dragon, was just focusing on the top side, trying to stay away from Nunu. Nunu's doing the same thing. He's managed to successfully avoid Shyvana the whole game, but only so far has pulled off one gank from it. We do see, however, the mid lane a 20 CS difference already. Now, this is not a matchup which should go in favour of the Azir. This is likely just down to the individual skill of the players.
Yeah. Also, he has now gotten a blue buff, whereas
that's
the Orianna
also true. That's also
so that does help him a lot in terms of being able to shove the Orianna in, make her miss a few CS under turret every time, and also roaming opportunities. However, there's a really nice pink ward near Pixel Brush for Cambridge, and they've just spotted the Nunu and the Azir, so they've managed to play around that.
Yeah, and I've seen pointed out, look at the vision score on the trinkets here. Nunu with 13 compared to the highest on Cambridge of 4. He is going for the vision game here. Look at the amount of wars he's got in his top side of the jungle.
Wow. Yeah.
He's got vision of the entirety of the top side of the jungle. If you go to the fog of war, he is looking to set up something up top side. Shyvana's coming up through the bot.
Okay.
But ICL are aware of this, and we're going to see perhaps a 2v2 in the mid lane here. The shockwave comes out, just about hits, but ICL are prepared for it. They're turning around. The Shyvana's going to be pulled away by the Azir. Ults over the Azir. I wasn't even sure that was possible. Yonderan's going to try and take down the Azir, but Braum's up, going to get the Combustibles onto Longsword, who flashes over the wall. Yonderan's going to be taken out. The Braum ult comes out onto Longsword. There's going to be one more hit onto Longsword. He's going to get the Ignite, in fact, for the kill. Meanwhile, Yonderan does manage to escape, but that was not a successful gank. Just due to the vision control, ICL were fully aware of everything that Cambridge were about to do.
Yeah, so that's just the vision paying off. It's Cambridge thinking they can gank mid lane in 2v1 and then Imperial...
Azir diving onto Yonderan here. This was a bit of aggressive. Yonderan was well prepared for that. No threat to him there.
Alright, but they will get some good damage under this turret.
They might even take the tower out here with the Nunu in Azir.
Yeah, wow.
And again, we're switching back to his vision control view. The top side of the jungle from Nunu, 100% lit up. Heimding is going to at risk of getting a tower dive shortly.
Yeah. So yeah, the vision control just paid off. Cambridge thought they had a 2 vs 1 gank, and then Imperial not only matched it with the 2v2 by bringing Nunu, but then they also made sure their Braum roamed up and cut off the Orianna's escape route. So that's just good play.
Very good play. Nunu, we can see, taking out the Rift Herald. Derapanza again struggling in this lane. We were hoping that, I was hoping that Devil Panda would be able to hold his own in this lane a bit more than he's currently doing. The 2 kills onto Sion, however, not really his fault. Build some magic resistance early. Heimerdinger can't really do anything. Does other TP, he's probably going to use that to get back to lane.
Yeah. And Nunu doing Nunu things again. He'll get Rift Herald for his team. They might use that. Well, we'll see where they use it. They don't have to use it instantly. They've already gotten mid turret, which is something that teams normally use it for.
And bot lane is getting to the stage where the Vayne is going to be able to pull off and engage. The Vayne and Braum are going to be able to compete with the Varus and Lulu in the 2v2s. We're going to see some fights coming out there, especially if the Azir starts coming down. If we see the theme with vision control, again, I'm going to focus on vision. Look at the map. We have one ward in the Tribush, so they can see ganks about 5 seconds before they happen, and then a couple in the top jungle. Meanwhile, for the side of
Azir's coming down. So is Orianna though, so something
Azir,
might happen.
they know Orianna's coming down. They've got so much vision. Orianna's going to run into the Azir, who doesn't adhere, but he fails the Emperor's Divide. The soldiers not enough to take her out in the end there. Oh, but the Comet does finish her off. Flash over the wall. Brawlhump coming out. Stunned from two ends onto Milkydor. Milkydor is no flash available. No, he does have flash available. Doesn't need to use either spell. We're going to see a lot of TP coming in from Sion. There are 4 people in the bot lane. Cambridge need to be careful, but they go vision. Sion cancels the TP. I guess they pulled out. And we look at the deep balls that they got from this. Every time they make an aggressive play, 3 deep balls in the jungle, Nunu's having, they know they're perfectly safe. Heimerdinger in a 1v1 against a Sion here in the top lane. Nunu looking towards the bot, but again, the 3 wards deeper than red buff, out the side of Imperial. There's nothing that Cambridge are going to be able to do except for either clear these wards out or just ward the other side of the map, but I don't know if they're even aware of the domination that Nunu's having in terms of the vision gain at the moment. They're just, from their perspective, every time they try and do something, ICL are just there and ready for it. Do they know why? Probably not.
And they're just prepping for the other dragon. You get the next dragon. They'll kind of get it on cooldown. I don't think it'll take more than about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's certainly not going to take very long to take out here.
The Shyvana is there. We'll see if she goes for a steal.
Shyvana's there. We're going to see if they're going to steal. Orianna comes in for the backup. What are you doing, Longsword? That's not a good decision to make. Meanwhile, there's a fight going on at top lane, but we're not really interested in that right now. Directed camera. Longsword just about escaping there. That was a risky play. There was no chance of getting the Baron when people are set up the dragon when people are set so early for that. So we are seeing some small advantages coming out for Imperial time and time again just from this vision game. We've got a 2k gold lead, 2 dragons ahead.
Yeah.
We look at the individual gold of the players. Oh, as we see, Carniflixen going onto Longsword in the mid lane. Orianna does use the shockwave, but still goes down. Devil Panda in the top lane being dived. Jez flashes on. He's got 1 health left. 1 auto should do it. And now we're seeing the lane mechanics getting into play. Orianna really doesn't want to be dying to Azir here, but that's happening nevertheless. And the one trick Heimerdinger slowly but surely dying. Oh, the engaged, the Dragon Rush onto the Azir. The Empress Divide keeping in the towers are going to be enough kill. Both flashes away. Yondera manages to survive. Azir also escapes with life. Did attempt a tower dive inside the Azir passive there for the tower. Not a great idea. Oh, I don't even know what killed them there. Somehow the Azir died. Did you see that?
Good God, no, I didn't. I was busy watching the Rift Herald bottom lane, so they have finally used it.
They finally used the Rift at bottom lane. I don't know exactly how Shyvana managed to kill the Azir there, but certainly she managed it. Azir thought he was confident, had his soldier out, was going for the kill.
Did she use red smite? I don't know.
I don't think it was a smite. Milkydor's being engaged on, the concussive blows comes out. That was just way too far out, but the Lulu out on the hill comes out. Will it be enough to save her? Orianna comes on, the shield comes out. Nunu's was rooted. He might die to the tower head. Let's see if a stopwatch. He doesn't have the stopwatch. Comes out of the Lulu. Meanwhile, Yonderon on the Shyvana cleaning up. This is an over-aggressive dive by Imperial College. They are going to pick up their last kill. Rift Herald's there, and how many kills are that for Cambridge? That was a 3 for 1. Over-aggressive dive coming out of Imperial College London. There was no reason for that.
Yeah. I mean, Cambridge had all 5 of their members down there, whereas Imperial didn't. So that's just a bit of aggression. And their vision that they used to have in the bottom side, which was so good, it had faded by then. So they kind of just got outnumbered without checking themselves.
Certainly a case I feel of the Nunu being great at the vision game, but the rest of the team are just taking it for granted. Once you have vision for so long, it's the same. I feel as what you know, as solo queue. You get 10 kills on your Z. You're killing everyone in one hit. You go into the next game and you try and do the same thing, and you're forgetting that you don't do as much damage. You've just got complacent with the amount of damage you're used to doing. And I feel like ICL's doing the same here with their vision. Everything they do goes well for them because of Nunu's vision, but they're not consciously taking this into their decision making. So they're just assuming that it will go well when the wards have already expired. They need to be more careful.
Yeah, so we've got this. The bot lane's rotated top. That's the last outer turret for Imperial to take. So I think that's where the focus of quite a bit of the map will be happening at the moment. There is TP up for both of the top laners, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just were assigned to the bottom lane while the rest of the team went top. But that's not what's happening. The bottom lane, Varus is actually going bot, which I think this means that Imperial should push top.
We are going to see, look
at
the dive on the Heimerdinger. Does he have vision of it? He does see some people coming here through the wards in the river, and he should be backing off. There's no ward in the tri-bush from here. He's worrying for a tower dive. Rightly so. We switch back to full view. Meanwhile, Yonderon looking to the mid lane. Empress Divide comes out. Shockwave pulls him mid-dash, and that is a free kill coming on for Longsword. Azir side 2 for up there. I'm sure they must have noticed the Shyvana coming up in the jungle. He was just a bit cocky, thinking he'd get out with the Empress Divide. Stun.
Yeah, that's
Landing the stun on the Sups as well. Well done, Devil Panda. He's managing to hold onto this tower quite well. Shyvana has no idea what she's walking into. The Yonder run, no vision, walking to the bush, face shaking 2 people. But Dear Darling and Long's coming out. This is going to come into a team fight here. Okay, so who's coming out? Yululu comes out onto Yonder run on the Shyvana. Seems to be coming out, but the Psylocke comes in right at the back, killing Dear Darling immediately. Lulu downstairs, and now Cambridge are backing away. We see Varus still in the bot lane, split pushing 1 for 0 so far. It doesn't really matter too much, but as long as Cambridge don't get too cocky. Brom's walking around the back, fires the Q off. Not much being done there. Sion is now TP bot. Azir's back. It doesn't look like anything else will come, with the exception of the fact that Nunu and Shyvana dangerous close in jungle, gonna steal away that blue buff there. Yonderon is not happy at all about that, looking to go in on the Nunu. Oriana's gonna help in the back, Brom's gonna help, but they do take him down. That's again a case of Nunu getting way too cocky. The stun comes out of the Heimerdinger. Are they going to get the Brom? Dragon's Rush comes out of the Shyvana. Brom is going to go down slowly but surely. Meanwhile, Vayne's just running away. We're looking to see a much closer game, I think, than people have expected.
Yeah, in the last few minutes, I think Imperial, I don't know what they've been doing. They've kind of been split. They've taken a few fights where they're outnumbered. The Azir got caught mid lane. That was the thing that made the least sense to me. His team was pushing top, and they had a pretty decent wave. And they were all, they were looking to gank the Heimerdinger and then just finish off the turret. But while that was happening and they didn't have vision on the Cambridge team, Azir just went mid and died, which meant that
yeah.
plan just...
And again, we're looking at the Azir now. We're seeing 4 members group up top. Azir's taking the red buff away from the Varus. Not the most red buff reliant champion. I would have preferred just pushing mid and then rushing straight to bot, maybe taking the jungle on the way, but I don't know what he's just playing for himself at the moment.
I mean, it has netted him a 50 CS lead, but that doesn't really matter if you're not with your team when the fight starts.
You've got to be there. And in the last fight, Cambridge managed to not lose too much. In fact, they're getting some damage onto the bot tower. It was a 1 for 0 if I remember, but Varus was in the meantime free farming, although there's still some CS behind of the Vayne. And we're going to go switch to the vision again, because Cambridge has now lots of defensive vision. They've got pretty much full vision of the bottom half of their jungle. Meanwhile, Imperial College London staying with a couple of wards there, but Dear Darling's going to get caught by into the Divide. This should be an easy kill, but a flash away in the shield. He just about manages to survive. The soldiers being sent out again. Shurima's legacy will live on. Milky walks back into the bush. He's going to escape, but doesn't have flash up yet. He's going to go down. Not sure we quite realised how many members were near there. They are desperate to try and set up this the dragon, but Imperial just have too much vision around it. They can't do anything.
Yeah, and I think the Lulu maybe does need to play a little safer. She is really squishy. We saw that as well last time against the Sion. The Sion came with his ultimate, and she was dead before she could react, before she was out of CC lock.
Yeah, we see the Shyvana heading top now with the Heimerdinger, but we also see a bunch of members, 4 members in fact, of Imperial College London following them down. They do know where she is. They are pinging several times. They're looking to get the Baron.
Yeah. If they do the Baron quickly with Nunu, Azir, and Vayne.
We look at the vision. They don't actually. They don't actually have vision of the Heimerdinger and the Shyvana, but I don't think they realise. Heimerdinger and Shyvana just sitting off to the back. Shyvana's going to jump over the wall. No, she's not. That was a very quick Baron taken, and it seemed like they just didn't have any. Cambridge just didn't have any clue. We had Heimerdinger and Shyvana standing at the red buff behind Baron while it was going on. No attempts to intervene or anything.
Yeah, a 20-minute and 15-second Baron is about as early as you can get. So, I think Imperial now just recalls, and then they should just push with the buff.
Are looking to get this tower as penance for the Baron, but it's not going to be worth it. We are seeing that the control from Nunu coming out of these objectives is keeping Imperial hanging in there through the mistakes that they're making. Still 2 kills up, 3k up, but more importantly than that, a Baron and 3 dragons up.
Just looking at the stopwatches again. Yeah, they're broken. Oriana's bought herself one.
So Oriana's bought herself a stopwatch. Yeah, that is always a good plan if you're going to build Zhonya's later. It is only 600 gold. Very, very useful.
Yeah. If she was planning of building Zhonya's against this team anyway, I'm curious as to why she didn't take it in the first place. Maybe she's not taking inspiration second. I don't know if I can check that, but.
Yeah, I don't know if you can check that either. Certainly, sometimes I end up taking inspiration just because of I can't even remember what the perks were in there, but the perks in there are pretty good sometimes. Yeah. If you're not really concerned about the early dives, and again, it didn't matter to her so much this game because there were no stopwatches on the side, or few stopwatches on the side of Imperial, so there weren't those early dives. we're seeing some poor map play by Cambridge as the Imperial just get it. There wasn't even the Baron buff that allowed that. They just walk up and take the tower while bot lane is...
And Orianna has a really hard time clearing against the Baron buff minions because of the extra magic resist.
Indeed.
So there's not really much you can do in that situation.
We see the Vayne split pushing bot and the Silence split pushing top. Nunu's just running around taking everything up. Again, Imperial with huge amount of wards, 38 out of Nunu. And they have total vision. There's no way they're going to be flanked at the moment by a Shyvana combo. Azir completely whiffs the Emperor's Divide there. What is Carniflexion doing? Dear Darling nearly walks and gets killed by the soldiers in the end, but Milky Dog's but then the flash ult comes out. Heimerdinger misses the stun. Brawlmalt stops the Shyvana mid ult, but Azir passive now fighting under attack, but it's not so bad. The Luna comes out. Shockwave again is whiffed, but they do take Azir down. Braum's going to run away. The Q comes out. Shyvana's going to walk it straight over there, but we're going to see top and bot pushing. TP comes out. Is this TP a good idea out of the Heimerdinger? Is he going to be able to save the tower, or is he just going to get died instantly? Teleports into a Nunu ult, gets taken to really low health. What on earth was that Heimerdinger? Teleporting 1v2. Shyvana's walking in. They do save the tower. Maybe a worthwhile sacrifice. Meanwhile, Nunu heading over to assist Vayne in the bot lane. Yonderuns still in a 1v1 against the Sion as he ults away. Vayne and Nunu, though, are going to be able to escape the Varus and Lulu. Might even be able to win the fight, but Orianna's coming. They don't want to stay too long. The tower's only taken to half health. These towers do regen. So overall, a good trade for Cambridge, especially given that ISIL had the Baron.
Yeah, it was 1 for 2, and I think that will stall out to the end of the Baron now. So in the next push, Imperial won't have that anymore. It was interesting what Imperial was doing. Instead of going for like a 4-1, they had 2 in the top lane, 2 in the middle lane, and then 1 in the bot lane, which I don't know if that's always the best idea, especially considering the top laner has TP. So maybe they should have split 4 and 1. But anyway, they didn't. And that's
and we are seeing the theme of this game. Cambridge is putting out some pretty good plays individually because I'm getting some good picks off, but they are losing out in the map play. They are just going to be completely outclassed by the Nunu and by the whole of ICL in terms of the rotations and the map vision. Now, will this be enough to keep Cambridge in the game? Certainly, when these sieges start happening, Cambridge are running out of towers. They're going to be walking back and forwards between killing the split pushers who are trying to destroy their towers. Now, it worked out for them last time. It threw the Baron buff because Azir overstepped, because they managed to catch the Braum as well, and just about managed to get back in time to save the towers. If Azir or Braum had been 5 seconds later and getting caught, they would have lost 2 towers there, and that would have opened the game up. So very, very close call for Cambridge.
Definitely.
Nunu dancing around the Shyvana.
A lot of the gold is on the Cambridge team. The Shyvana has managed to get 7 kills, which I think is quite impressive considering the Nunu really had a lot of vision.
The Emperor's Divide this time does manage to land on the virus, catching out Milky Door. The shockwave comes out onto the Braum and Azir, but it's not enough. Dear Darling's been taken low. Shyvana comes through the back. 7 kills. Shyvana is going to be enough. Can she one before the concussive blows and the Nunu ult enough to stop in the tracks? The Milky Dog in the corner. We were just talking about how bad it would be if Cambridge make the mistake next to their towers, and it's going to happen. This is looking like the end of the game.
Wow. So they don't need the Baron, it turns out.
They don't need the Baron. All they need to do is for Carniflexion to hit one of his combos. He was trying the insanely long-range Azir, the Azir Emperor Divide combos for about the last 5-10 minutes, and he kept failing them, but at the last he got one when Milky Door had no flash up. And that's just GG right there. Milky Door's already spawned, but it's not going to be enough. 25 minutes in, an 11k gold lead. Are they going to go? Oh no, they are actually scared away by the minions. The respawn timers were too low. They looked like they wanted to end. I thought they were going to manage it.
Yeah, so they go away. They might just
the Azir was dead,
grab the dragon here on their way out.
They're going to drag the
dragon. And that will be the 4th for them. So I don't know if it will go another 10 minutes, but if it does, Elder will be really strong on Imperial.
Elder is going to be really strong, and that is likely to be taken by Imperial because we've seen how the struggles that Cambridge have had in contesting any objective. They're getting the kills, they're getting the catches, but you can't rely on that alone for the whole game, as we just saw. Cambridge's only way of currently their only strategy to win is by hoping that a member from Imperial makes about 5 mistakes in a row so they can de-push, de-ward, etc.
Yeah.
Whereas from one mistake out of Cambridge, and there's instantly they lose inhibitor and a Nexus Tower.
Yeah, and with Baron coming up in a minute, I think Imperial's play right now is just secure vision around there, get another Baron, hopefully don't get it stolen, and then just push in top, mid, while the supers in the bottom lane are doing work there. And I think that way that's a pretty safe way to close out the game.
Heimerdinger's turret will be teleport will nearly be up by the time Baron spawns, so he could leave some towers there to fail with the minion waves. Only one Nexus tower left. If they just stall around their Baron, Cambridge are gonna be struggling to defend this Nexus tower. If they can somehow bait out the Heimerdinger TP, if Heimerdinger is actually any use in these fights.
Yeah, and I don't think Cambridge really have any vision here. So they're
certainly
mostly
don't.
just...
Yonderan's been taken quite a significant amount of damage from the Azir there.
Yeah. They'll mostly be blind face checking, which is...
Oh, the brilliant Empress Divide, getting 3 people at once. A shockwave comes out onto 3 members of Yonderan's going to clean him up in the back line, but Milkidor has been killed again immediately by the Azir's Empress Divide. Yonder running away, concussive blows, stuns him after he flashes over the wall. Vayne flashes following him up, and the Lulu's running away. There's not going to be enough Longsu. Heimerdinger was not even bot lane, didn't even need to TP, but died anyway. This looks like it's now finally going to be into the game. What an Empress Divide, though.
There's Supers in the bottom lane. I think they'll just go through there, finish off. We've got a dance by Nunu. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything Cambridge can do at the moment.
And certainly, Longsword does manage to catch down the Gonaflex at the end. He's going to run in and try the Brave one before. Are they going to kill the tower in time? There is enough of a wave. Gonaflex has been killed, but Longsword, with the stopwatch at last, which is now broken, going to be exhausting the Vayne, but it's not going to be enough. Milkidor spawns, runs back in, and we did see these last 2 team fights. That last one especially, we had a brilliant Shyvana ult, a brilliant Orianna ult, and then not enough damage on the side of Cambridge because Milkidor has been caught twice by the Empress Divide.
And that's game 1.
Game 1 over. We're going to look at these warding stats. We did get close up. We get 50 out of Nunu. He slowed down towards the end with the 53 and 52 out of the supports. But certainly that was much closer than people expected, but Cambridge just letting things down there at the end with the superior vision control, well, with the inferior in vision control. We saw at the end of that last team fight as they didn't have any vision of the Baron pit. They're walking into check, and Azir took complete advantage of it. 3 people at once from Cambridge walked forwards, and Azir just traps them all in. Milkidor on the Varus dying instantly.
Yeah, and then there was just a lot of CC follow-up. Vayne actually got a lot of kills after that fight. She was 5-2 before that fight started and managed to get 5 before the game ended, finishing 10-2, which is a really good score. I think most of Imperial here played quite well. Unfortunately, they did get too many kills, I'd say, onto the Psalm, but that's not really too much of a problem as long as you're getting kills elsewhere. If we want to look at maybe Cambridge's ways of winning next game, because there were quite a few good things. The game was very close for quite a while. What do you think they need to do to maybe close out next time?
Certainly, their main problem was just the macro gameplay. They had the individual plays. I mean, they did have the losing laners, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to change that this game. If they can quickly just realise that, this is the thing I was talking about though, do they realise the problems that they were having? Do they realise that the reason everything was going wrong for them half the time was because of the lack of vision control? Do they realise that the reason that they all got caught in the Azir when they're trying to check the Baron was because they had no vision of it? If they'd have seen the Azir, they would have been much more careful. And Azir just saw 3 people working in a huge amount of time to just trap them all in the Baron pit and kill them all. If they'd even been a slightly bit there, we saw the team fights were actually reasonably close even when the Varus got killed instantly. Yeah,
and we said the Nunu's job is to try to make the other junglers useless as him, and with that vision, the Shyvana just had very few gank opportunities for the longest amount of time. I think she still played well, because she did end up just farming. She had quite a big farm lead over the Nunu, but it meant that the lanes that should have lost could play nicer, and so that they went a bit more even.
And we're looking at the damage graphs here. We see one of the biggest differences in this game with the Varus doing... How much damage is that? Varus doing about 7k damage compared to the Braum doing 6k damage, and the Vayne doing 20.
Yeah,
so
Vayne and Azir.
The Vayne and Azir
just doing lots, as expected.
As expected, the Shyvana contributing most of the damage out of Cambridge's side, which we were anticipating, but Milkidor and the Varus really not pulling his weight here, as we see getting caught. The laning was not too bad for him, but getting caught twice by the Emperor's Divide. Again, partly of that is to blame on the lack of vision out of the side of Cambridge, but again, you really don't want to be dying instantly in team fights as a Varus.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the mechanical thing, but I think the Varus maybe should have come out of laning with a bit more of a lead. He wasn't significantly far up in CS, really. And with the push, and you'll get level advantages with the push. You have a Lulu who's a range support against a Braum melee support. So I think that maybe the bottom lane should have won a bit more, but they might have just not had the best start. So we'll see if they can do better in the next game.
Indeed we are. Well, we're going to take a quick 2 or 3 minute break. When we return, will be Game 2 in the MMOCircles sponsored tournament. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is game 2 of the MMOCircles sponsored Imperial versus Cambridge tournament, and we saw an unfortunate, from my perspective, ICL victory in the first round, despite some valiant efforts from Cambridge.
Yeah, some really good things. I think it was closer than some people expected, seeing as some of the Imperial Cambridge matches so far have been.
But still, I'd say I mean, there were some mistakes out of ICL, but still a relatively clean win. All of their mistakes were really inconsequential. Cambridge picked up a few kills here and there, but no objectives.
Yeah, I think most of the mistakes made from Imperial were just being greedy. They took fights where they didn't have as many numbers as Cambridge when they were ahead. I think that's trying to push their lead a bit too much. So we'll see if they can play a bit safer this game and have a cleaner game. Yeah.
And we're seeing the Heimeninger ban this time coming out of ICL. Now, clearly that it scared them enough on the top lane. And the Zac ban now coming out from Cambridge, and we thought Dale Pounder only played Heimeninger and Zac, so it's surprising that they got the Zac ban. They must be really scared of Ayux's Zac jungle.
I guess we'll see, and I would expect maybe a Riven ban as well, because we do know that one of the players here got to master on Riven, so I would be surprised if they let that get through. I would be scared to play against
I would be scared to play against a Master Riven as well, especially if Zell Pando's not going to be on one of his comfort picks.
Yeah.
The main thing, there's the Azir ban. They clearly really hated those ults, but the main thing I'm looking for out of Cambridge actually is they need to pick an ADC that has an escape, that has a mobile and high damage. Milkydor is a good player. We need to see him doing much more damage than he does in the Varus that game. Now, we do have the Azir ban on the Carniflexen, but Carniflexen has, as we know, an extremely large champion pool. There's no point trying to ban him alone.
Yeah. He, in fact, did used to play for Cambridge a few years ago, but he is now an alumni and at Imperial, so there's been a poaching of a player. Okay, and it is Tristana Jarvan locked in for Cambridge this game, so Jarvan is very strong at the moment. So he's also one of the carry junglers, so Yondrin does like to play the carry style. Yondrin can definitely have the one-shot potential.
So we are seeing the Tristana, which I'm a big fan of. I think Cambridge has a much better chance of surviving in these fights and winning with the fights with Milkydor on a much higher damage ADC and a much more mobile ADC. So I'm a big fan of this pick. Picking up so early, I'm not sure if that's such a great idea, especially given that ICL, I think Tristana would have been a great pick in their last team comp, but they didn't go for it. So maybe they just don't really want the Tristana. So I'm not sure if I would have gone with that the first pick for Cambridge.
Yeah, and they finish off the first round of picks with the Orianna. That does synergize well with the Jarvan, who I said was quite strong. He is a bit weaker in 8.3, but still definitely not a troll pick. And it's going to be an interesting matchup, Lee Sin versus Jarvan.
It is certainly a much more interesting matchup, and we're going to see a completely different style of game. I was talking about last game how the high mechanical skill of Imperial should be utilised, and instead they went for the very safe, very strategic approach with the Nunu and the safe lanes. And this time it's completely different. They've gone with a flashier Lee Sin, Gangplank, and Bard. They're going to be looking to get a lot more kills in the early game. And again, the Tristana, not so much there, but the Jarvan, certainly. Very different pick from the Shyvana. I would have maybe liked to see another Shyvana again. Shyvana was quite effective in that last game, and I don't think Cambridge want to try and compete with ICL in the lane matchups. If they're going to lose their matchups, they're prepared to lose. Don't try and pick something that can maybe pick up a few kills if ICL go in too deep. Pick something like the Shyvana that can carry them through to the late game if they manage to survive the laning.
Yeah, and just from Imperial now, we still have their two carries to pick. I would definitely expect something quite magic damage heavy in the mid lane, and seeing as the rest of their team is all AD at the moment, and they still have to pick their AD carry. So we'll see what he decides to bring against the Orianna, who is, doesn't have any too strong counters, I'd say.
Yeah, Orianna is a safe pick, and they go into some very safe picks, Tristana, Jarvan, Orianna. I'm very interested to see what they go for the top lane. Maybe we're going to see that now, or maybe we're going to see the support now. I'd probably rather see a support. Maybe a Braum and Tristana would be a really, really good pick here. A Thresh, that's a risky pick. Looking to make some plays. Now, given the more experienced players from ICL, I'm not sure if this is such a great idea, especially as a Braum Trist lane is so good. Are we going to see a Draven locked in now? This would be a very flashy. This would be a very flashy pick. No, Twitch or Draven. This is extremely surprising to me. A Jhin.
Ooh,
Now,
Jhin. Jhin
I'm
it
not a
is.
fan of Jhin
Okay.
particularly.
Yeah, I mean he tends to be bad against tanks. So I
Yeah,
don't.
he's
Yeah.
bad against tanks, and we don't see yet the top laner out of
Yeah.
Cambridge. Wonder if they're just delaying it this long to let Devil
Yeah.
Panda
I'm
watch some
curious to see
champion
this.
spotlights.
I'm curious to see this final pick here. So it's gonna be
Oh,
Zoe. So
Zoe.
all right.
Now we saw Orianna struggle against Azir last game. How is she gonna fare against the Zoe?
It just means as a team you have to be so careful whenever you're walking anywhere outside of your lane, just from a sleepy trouble bubble coming in
Is this a
from max
Gragas
range.
top? Or?
Yeah, I think Gragas and Jarvan can kind of each go.
We're
to
actually
each,
seeing the Zoe top lane here. Oh no,
Oh, okay.
no, it's the final swap.
One more swap to go.
One more
yeah,
swap
they're
to
baiting
go.
me.
They were baiting me, and it is the Gragas top lane, so we're having a Gragas versus Gangplank.
Okay, so they have picked a tank, so Jhin, not going to be too useful against that. Both supports here do really like to roam, I think. Bard obviously, and then Thresh makes a lot of plays around the map.
And I think we're going to see a lot more chaotic plays in the early game with the Lee Sin and the Jarvan.
Yeah, that too.
Yonderon's really going to look to hold a zone against Aox on the Lee Sin. Hopefully he can match up. He did reasonably well last game. You can't hope to match up with a Nunu in objective control just because it's a Nunu, but at the same time, he should have probably put a bit more focus into stopping himself from being tracked. They should have got a bit. Cambridge last game needed to get more advantage in the early game than they did. They have the Nunu who will secure all the objectives. If you're going to let all the objectives die, you can't also let the lanes even go even. You have to be pressing advantage on there, otherwise you're screwed.
Yeah. Yep. And something cool actually is that we praised Aoxa on his vision in the first game. Lee Sin also gets the warding item a lot of the time, just for the ward jump, and there's lots of usability there. So he can still do a similar thing. So we'll see if he can keep that up in the second game. Yeah. I'm wondering for the mid lane. I think early Ariana's going to be able to push in quite a bit, but once we get later game, the Zoe just means that all of Cambridge have to be very careful.
Yeah, Zoe certainly, with the interesting nurse in the last patch, still something to be feared.
Against Zoe's, I don't really mind a Mikhail's Crucible on the support, just so that if someone on your team gets caught, they don't get hit by that huge chunk of damage that comes in.
Yeah, and again, this is why the Thresh is a really interesting pick. I would have so wanted a Braum here. Braum and Tristana lane is probably one of the best bot lanes at the moment, and would have gone so well against the Jhin, against the Zoe, and the Lee Sin, and even the GP. The shield, the Unbreakable would have prevented so much damage here. The Thresh, harder to play as well, and the only thing you got there is the hook. You got some get out of jail free cards with the Lantern and the hook. But I'd much prefer the Braum here. I'm just wondering whether Dear Darling actually plays Braum. That may be a reason.
With Braum as well. If someone on your team gets the Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble, you just pop up your Unbreakable and block the because it's really scripted. You know what's coming in about a second and a half. So you can just stand in front and do that. Here you have to stand in front and just tank damage. I would have preferred Braum, I guess, but I don't think Thresh is the worst pick.
It's certainly not the worst pick. I'm glad they went with the aggressive support style, as opposed to trying to just uselessly shield off some of Zoe's insane burst.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we're going to see a Gragas GP top lane. How often do we see a Gragas top?
It was played quite a bit, I think. I don't know, I forget how long ago, but maybe like 6 months ago-ish. But it's just builds tank. It builds tank and it wave clears, and then it comes over and tries to. It does have a really if you have flash up, you have a really reliable engage in the E flash. Hopefully Devil Panda, because we do know that Devil Panda. We said he was a 2-trick in Zac and Heimerdinger. So hopefully he does know enough about Gragas to pull off some of those fancy E flash and then throw your ult while you're Eing combos.
Certainly. Otherwise it's non-picks like Lee Sin without the insects.
Yeah, and we'll try not to have the complete anti-synergy where Orianna puts her ult in, is going to get a 4-man ult, and then
that's true. This
Gragas just knocks
combo,
everybody out.
this combo from Arya did go quite well last game when we had the Orianna and Shyvana. This time we have the Orianna and Jarvan. They seem to have reasonably good synergy last game.
That does work great. So, yeah, we can now check the keystones.
Now, this game I'm very much expecting there to be a lot of mid lane focus out the side of ICO. We saw the struggles that Orianna was having against Azir last game. I'm going to anticipate even more struggle against Zoe. Now we're going to have the aggressive blood jungler that's very good at ganking mid lane with the Lee Sin. Orianna's going into a tough game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. We have the barrier taken from the Orianna instead of maybe something like Cleanse could have worked, especially against a Sleepy Trouble Bubble and Bard and Jhin. Jhin, especially with his W, can follow up on so much. Alright, so we're into the game. Let's go.
And are we going to see any level 1s out of Cambridge here with Thresh? Doesn't look like it. Slightly disappointed to see that. That would have been a nice way of perhaps getting a cheesy level 1 off, which I think Cambridge could really benefit from here.
Yeah, and at the moment everyone's kind of just spamming at jungle entrances.
Yeah, another passive start. And again, with the lack of stopwatches, we have Orianna this time does take the stopwatch. Longsword didn't take the stopwatch last game, right?
No, I thought last game it was the jungler and AD carry who took them, and then Longsword eventually bought one.
She's changed to runes.
Okay, we've got an invade going in here.
We do have an invade onto Devil Panda, but there's no CC there. It's just going to scare him off a bit. Make Gragas start with 100 health lower in lane.
Yep, okay, nothing too big. If they were able to force the flash, that would have been a good advantage to have, but unfortunately not able to. And yeah, it looks like that's all that's going to happen at level 1.
Gragas wasn't even forced to start with his E, which would have been a bit of a good thing, but not really that relevant for the top lane anyway.
Yeah, and he's basically healed up to 4. Once he casts his first spell, when the lane comes, he'll basically heal to max health. So nothing to worry about there.
No, I'm just interested to see how this mid lane matchup goes with Carniflexen, who was dominating.
I'm also curious. I'm also curious about the junglers if they try to get early ganks.
Especially with the underrun last game, not really donating any resources to the mid lane, who was already struggling. Very interesting strategy here. Could argue it paid off in the end, but certainly we might need. He's going to have to put some focus around mid lane if he wants Orianna to survive.
I'm not a GP main, but if anyone in Twitch chat wants to explain the relic shield start to me.
Already Orianna being hit by the Drowsy, being taken solo. This is a kill coming up. Barrios had to come up already, losing the level 2 trade, being hit by the Drowsy and taken so low. This is exactly what we were talking about. Orianna's got to be so careful against this Zoe. Yeah,
and that's the barrier was also used late. It was used after all of the damage came in.
Panicked,
so
it didn't really
do anything. Yeah, that's why I may have preferred Cleanse myself. I mean, I don't know if I would have used it there, but you definitely. Oh, and
the Sin just so managing to escape and getting the kill onto Yonder Run. That is not a good start for the carry jungler. I wasn't looking at the screen at this point. Don't even know what happened. It looked like he was just caught with a wrist gun.
Yeah, no, they actually were fighting. It looked like Jarvan almost killed Lee Sin actually, but then ran down to the mid lane, and because Zoe's got priority there from the earlier trades, she came up first.
Trade coming down to Milkador. The heal comes out after the ignite being put on. The Jhin nearly managing to take down the Milkador. Look how low health he's on. Tristana not doing so well here. The lane's already in favour of ICL. This is what happens when they draft winning lane matchups, I guess. Zoe going very aggressive again, knowing, I think, that Jarvan is not there, or at least being very confident that Jarvan hasn't immediately run back to mid lane, because Jarvan could have really picked up a free kill hit. Meanwhile, Tower Dive coming onto the top lane. Devil Panda looking to try and avoid the Lee Sin here. The knock-up coming out, and manages to outplay. Doesn't have stopwatch, so I think Lee Sin got a bit cocky here. Don't really know what he was doing with that Q, just walks in with 300 health and dies.
That's a very
also donating over the double buffs now, so no junglers having the double buff anymore.
Gragas didn't even have to use flash there. I just think that's a pretty aggressive dive.
That was insane. They had such a good advantage with the jungler Lee Sin with the double buffs and Gragas and Jarvan without the double buffs. Now they're pretty much even again, and it's back to level footing. Although we do see a gold lead coming out of ICL, just from the CS difference on the bot lane. We have 27 to 17 already. What do you think of this? What do you think of this matchup?
Oh well, yeah, the Jhin and Bard did get a really good trade-off. They forced the Tristana back, which is why there's that 10 CS difference at the moment.
It looks like they're struggling to avoid the Bard trade here.
Yeah, I'd say Dear Darling played that the earlier fight well. He did manage to just step in front of the W at the last moment to save his AD carry, because otherwise Milky Door would have gone down. But yeah, it's still going to be a pretty tough lane for them now, especially because they're behind in levels. And I think they will mostly get pushed in. We've got an invade coming in from the lead.
The Lee is invading, but what is he intending to get? The walls? We're going to see. Just is intending to pick up. Yonduran is playing this very cleverly, pulling the walls right the way out, so Lee has to walk quite the way into the base here. Thresh getting a hook on the bot lane, and the walls are going to be an interesting item of contest from here. Yonduran, low mana, Lee Sin does manage to spike
his mid laner's back. I think Orianna came in the bot lane collapsed.
Yeah, very cocky out of the Lee Sin. He's just assuming that he's going to scare them off.
He does make it out. Yeah, I guess they do have quite a bit of vision in the river, and they were pushed up in the bottom lane. But I would have expected if he's going for that invade to communicate it to the mid laner and make sure Zoe doesn't go back, because she was pushing the Orianna in. But I guess he does make it out there.
Yeah, we've seen this Lisa with the cocky plays already. Gragas looking like he's doing reasonably well against Gangplank in the top lane. There is a bit of a serious but Yonduran coming in from the Gangplank bomb behind. Does have flash up for the Jarvan, misses the EQ combo. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to pull anything off here. Double Panda not quite prepared to E-flash there. Yeah. That was an opportunity, sadly missed. Yeah,
he does chunk the Gangplank low, so the Gangplank does have to recall, but no summoners there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just teleported back to lane.
Certainly, yeah, would not be surprised. And I feel like in this situation, Yonduran, if he had the mana, could have just sit there and wait for GP to go back. He doesn't look like he's TPing back, he's going to walk back, since Devil Panda is attempting at least to freeze the lane there.
Yeah, I guess he won't actually lose too much under turret. We'll see in the end. Yeah, there is a dragon going on here. So Cambridge is, that's Imperial taking the initiative here. Able to get themselves an early dragon, and that is Ocean, which helps a lot with laning. Because whenever you're not fighting, you're regenerating mana and health, which, a lot of sustain helps with laning.
Again, with the dragon take out of ICL, we saw this from last game, and we put it down to the Nunu. The warding this time not so different between the two junglers. The drowsiness hits the Orianna again.
Oh, she does walk into it. Oh, that's good.
The heal comes out of Hana Flex, an interesting. Wait, that was the Zoe mimicked heal. Yeah. As for the summon heal, I forget about that.
The Orianna definitely saw the Sleepy Trouble bubble, and then for some reason chose to walk into it. I don't think that's the right call. I think you can't run back to your turret, but you're not really under threat from anything else. So, this is a bit interesting.
Yeah, intentional decision to walk into the enemy explosion is never something I advocate in my mid laners.
Always questionable. And there is, there's a huge CS difference and a 2-level difference in the mid lane right now. So Long should really not having the best of times here.
This is sort of what we were talking about at the beginning. We did need to see the Jarvan helping. The Jarvan's got a bit behind the Lee Sin due to those early game plays.
Yeah, and it just looks like CS is either even or ahead for Imperial here. 15 in the bottom lane, 30 in the middle lane. And then even in the top. So just getting ahead at the moment just based on the laning advantages. Yeah,
and we're going to see a gang coming into top lane maybe. Yonduran looking towards topside, but Lee Sin is only there. Yonduran's flag and dragged over the wall. Lee Sin queued not quite in range, and Gangplank failing as combo. The E comes out of the Gragas onto the Gangplank, but there's not enough to do anything. And that sort of fizzles out. There are 3 top though. Orianna should be looking to push us forward, or he's going to join the top lane fight. Here we go. Yonduran being taken low, but Lee Sin again misses the Q. It is 3v2. The Gragas ult comes out to prevent Carniflex from doing anything. We're going to see in the top lane again.
Orianna's only just starting to run.
Orianna's actually backing.
Okay, so, alright.
Yeah.
I guess they're confident they're going to be okay. I'm starting to notice that the Jhin still hasn't recalled. So when he recalls, he's going to have a pretty big thing of power. It looks also like the Tristana hasn't, but she has. She just had no gold, so she only bought a refillable and a control wood.
We're having the 38 CS Orianna should really have used the opportunity to push. We're going to see Milky Door being taken very low again, losing in this lane
that's a
quite
great
heavily
bard
to the
keep.
Jhin.
Alright, so Lee Sin does have level 6 at the moment, so we'll see if he tries to go for a gank where he gets an insect off. Jarvan's still farming for his. He might get it off with this blue buff. We'll see if he gives it to his mid laner this time, because in the last game he didn't, and let the Yuriana deal with it herself.
Yeah, if I know Yonderan, he's going to say, nope, mid lane, you're losing. I get the blue, which
I think
indeed
so.
he has done.
Oh,
Bard's looking to get
fighting
out of
the
but he
bot.
has no tunnel. The flay comes out. Yonderan's going to try and cat the edge of the wall. But what is he doing at that flag and drag? Just queuing. The missing pings come out. That was a pretty misplay by the Yonderan. I'm not sure if they would have got the kill with the EQ because Tristana wasn't there. But even so, Zoe ulting in. Exhausting, just coming straight out. Is he going to manage to hit the Drowsy again? Doesn't seem to fire it. Looking to run away because he sees the Jarvan coming.
Yeah. Okay. So Jin's finally recalled. He'll get upgraded boots of swiftness and a BF sword and a long sword. So
Indeed,
he's a very big boy at the moment.
Trist now, does have Lee Sin coming on the mid lane. He's going to be held hit. Ward jumps in, going to queue in. He's going to get the insect off. He's just going to scare Longsword a bit, putting that pressure down. Still 30 CS behind.
Yeah.
Zoe, the Drowsy comes in, hits. The huge amount of damage going to come out. The barrier comes out. This time the barrier comes out in time. The shockwave comes out. Flash out of kind of Flex, and Longsword actually manages to escape that quite well. That was to summon the flash out of kind of Flex, and so Longsword learning from his mistakes at least. Milky Door in the meantime being hit by the Jhin bind. Drowsy misses.
And that's his real flash. It's not a Zoe flash.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Jarvan is getting caught. Oh, a two-man bard ultimate. Lantern to safety does come in.
The Lantern does pull him out to safety. Now Orianna in the mid lane does need to be careful because although she avoided the last one, she doesn't have anything up to prevent the next one, and another Drowsy will finish her off. Lee Sin coming in when Oyonda runs on the blue buff, getting the in second Q. Flag and drag's not enough, does go down to Aox, so the double comes down. They're going to pick off the Jhin. Jin's walking into the face check, but Bard and Lee Sin in there. Actually, Lee Sin's walked away, Hook comes down onto the Bard. Tristana's going to slow auto attack, not enough damage even with the BF sword. Threshold coming out, Bard's going to have to walk into it, but the Ignite comes down, the Genot's going to come out. This Stopwatch comes out when at least one has walked down to the box. Milkador's flashed in, does get the kill. That was a very nice turnaround after something that looked bad, but Lee Sin's going to hit the Q. Flaying away isn't going to be enough. Jhin auto going to come back. He's got with crit in one strike. Lee Sin's going to take the tower for one hit, but I'm not sure what really they're doing now. Orianna's come in, it looks like they're scared off, but Zoe's come right into the back. The Drowsy comes in, it instantly gets the kill onto Dear Darling, locks it with the shield, not going to be enough. Lee Sin's tanking the tower, but only for one hit, not going to be enough again. TP comes out from Devil Panda, who then immediately cancels it. That's a wasted cooldown. Very, very late TP. If it was a TP early, that might have gone well.
Wow, it's a lot of stuff just happened bot lane, but that was going mostly in Imperial's favor there, so.
Yeah, mostly in Imperial's favour, like you say,
and they'll get the bottom lane turret as well, and that's solo gold on the Jhin, I think, for first blood turret. Yeah, and he was already had a 30 CS advantage, so he's gonna be even stronger now.
We see the tries come from this time. Yonderan's now trying to make a play, still only level 6 on the Jarvan, and it's so difficult to see that. The Flag and Drag comes out, and they do get a nice kill onto Jez.
There we go. Okay, so something back for Cambridge at least, but it is still a 5k gold lead, which is, you know,
unfortunate to have. Comes out with the Thresh, and it should be a pretty easy kill onto Dear Darling by Oxa as they set up again for the Dragon once in vision control. Cambridge are just not prepared for this level of map play.
Right, and this will be the second Dragon for Imperial. Extending their lead.
And we're going to see
Tristana and Orianna thinking of something. No, they go back once it's taken.
Bardar hitting the Orianna on the mid lane there. She does flash away, but that's another summoner down, which she pretty much needs. The Drow's going to hit the Milky Door, bounces over the wall, zoning her away. Oh, the whatever that's called, the Zoe OP spell, again hit by max range and taken out Milky Door.
Kind of unlucky for Milky Door. Carniflexen did intend to...
Oh, the shockwave comes out into Lee Sin, and Carniflexen Hook comes out. Is going to go in. He seems too scared off, which is probably a wiser dev. Flaze comes out to stop the damage from the Lee Q. Carniflexen coming in again. 1 health a minute. What is Carniflexen doing? Just walking into the tower and dying. Was he lagging? That was a DC kill there. Interesting play. Okay. Unfortunately, didn't manage to pause in time. Carniflex in, more like Carniflex int, I think there.
Nice, yeah. Okay, so they did manage to get a kill back onto the Oriana, even if if you know, you take what you can get.
Yeah, you
so
take what you could get. Right, the pause
okay,
is
so
stopped.
it's an instant reconnect, so we're back into the game
Yeah.
straight away. But yeah, that is unfortunate. I'd be tilted right now if I was.
Well, I think Carniflexion's been experienced enough not to be tilted when he's already carrying this game by himself.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
I just want to pull the focus over to the goal totals though on the bot lane. There is a 2k difference between the Jhin and Tristana.
Yeah. And big difference in the mid lane as well. Just actually big CS advantages in the top, mid, and AD carry, which is kind of where you want them.
Yeah, which is definitely where you want them. Oh, Yonderon trying to go onto the Bard here, but getting pulled up. He's really over-aggressive in that play. He's still looking to be aggressive, but he's so far behind. Jhin Ult's going out. Is it going to hit the Jarvan at the back here?
Oh, we've also got the Gangplank ult.
They really wanted to kill him there. They really wanted him, but they didn't. Not quite enough to get him. Oh, brilliant hook lands onto the Jhin. This should be a free kill. That is a nice turnaround play. This is what we were seeing from last game.
Yeah, and actually now Imperial won't be able to siege that part too much longer, so that's really good.
Defending is helping again. The reactive plays, the Pixies are all good. Cambridge are making plays, they're taking advantage of the mistakes that ICL make, but they're not making anything proactive in terms of map movements, and it's not going to keep them in the game for very long. They're already 6k behind. 7k.
Yeah. And 2 dragons, and just a lot of map pressure. They'll probably Imperial's
the ult comes out with a Zoe, but the Double Panda's picked off the Lee Sin here, but the Insect he instantly counters. Lee Sin flashes over the Q. Yonderon's trying to get out. The ult does come out, managing to finish off Lee Sin as well, but the double heal's coming out. That's enough. The Thresh Flay coming out, but then Jarvan and Lee Sin both go down. Bardock's going to go down. What's going to be outcome of this? Longhood unspawns, but he has no flash or summoners up. He's just got the shield. Double Panda's coming to save them. They've only got the GP up. Is the GP going to manage to Q? The flash Q comes out. Meanwhile, on the mid lane, I hear Oriana is just gone down, but I heard a stopwatch go off. What else happened there?
Yeah. Oh, a Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land
Sleepy
on
Trouble Bubble onto...
Oh,
wait, what happened for me to speak there? The Sleepy happened onto the Thresh, I think, who then queued, followed up the Zoe where she dashed back, and then ended up in the middle of a 1v4.
Alright, so they'll actually be able to, I don't think, get this turret. There's enough wave clear on the side.
Devil Panda eating straight into the Jhin binding.
Oh, that Sleepy Trouble Bubble's gonna...
Sleepy Trouble Bubble there, ignited, Ignite goes down to Milky Door. Doesn't quite die.
He does have heal, so he shouldn't die.
It wasn't an Ignite, actually. I misread that for a second.
Just the Morellonomicon passive, I guess.
Yeah, it looked like an Ignite.
Yeah. Okay.
Cambridge struggling, 7k behind still with this.
Yeah. Imperial now, they've got their mid lane pushed. It's really hard for Cambridge to do anything, so I'll just take the Rift Scuttle now. And they might use that either to finish off the mid lane turret, which is already weakened to about half health. That's what I would do, but they might take it somewhere else. I'd use it there.
Yeah, and certainly we're going to see a lot more map pressure again out of Imperial College London. Cambridge have not, I mean, the warding hasn't been such an issue in itself. Actually, no, 21 wards coming up Lee Sin. Not surprising, Lee Sin with the ward jumps, even so.
Yeah.
Again, but it does show the differences in between teams. Cambridge, this is the first day that this Cambridge team has played together since Newell of last split, which was a few months ago now. Meanwhile, the ICL have had the varsity, they've had more practice since then. So it doesn't surprise me that, as well as the lane plays, they are having the cleaner map movements.
Oh, it looks like Yonderon carry jungler is taking the 3rd blue as well.
Taking the 3rd blue indeed.
No, wait, this is the 4th blue, right?
4th blue.
Wait,
yeah, it might be.
There's one at 1 minute, one at 6 minutes, one at 11 minutes. No, I think that's the 3rd blue, but he was up for quite a while.
GPL coming out to Longsford. He was slightly too far up there. I think he's just going to go straight down to the Jhin up there. Free kill picked up for Jhin, and that's not what you want at this stage in the game. This is the kind of kills that Cambridge need, and they need a lot more.
Yeah. And yeah, that's just 2 long-range ultimates, making it really hard for you to escape. Once the GP slow is on you, the Jhin ult's really easy to hit, so the whole team catches up and you don't really have much of a chance. Okay, the Rift Child has been used bottom lane, so they didn't choose to use it mid.
Bardock comes down to the mid tower, this looks like the sort of a tower dive. Milky Door's flashing away immediately, so Link can't in second. Leah just takes 2 Shoutots and walks out again, trying for the free kills. The redemption comes out, heals him up to full health. We potentially reset where we started, but Lee Sin But Milky Door's now down
that's
a
actually a
flash.
Zoe redemption, I think. Yeah.
Oh, a Zoe redemption. Of course it is.
She got it. She got it
Damn
on
the
her
champion.
W, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
fun.
Jumping over the wall, is the Drowsy going to be fired? No, it was not. She's just looking to get a bit more of an idea of what she's up against. Ball comes out. This is a tower which is not even being attempted to be defended by Cambridge. Brag's not here, but the 4-man shockwave comes out. What a good shockwave, but there's no follow-up.
Wow.
Zach wasn't there. Not Zach. Gragas wasn't there in time, and the Threshway doesn't land. Just managed to scare him off a bit. Will they try the chase? Looks like Zoe's going to scare them off again. The Jin bait, you don't really want to chase into that. Again, Milky Door being taken very low by the Gangplank ult. Zoe doing a lot of damage back onto the Gragas, and now Cambridge are going to have to run away. That looks so good. But again,
Man,
also
a
follow-up,
full
and the flash comes in, hitting straight onto Milky to get anything, but the Mad Life hook comes out onto the Zoe, hitting as she teleports back in, the Gragas ult comes out, Jin being thrown in, but Gragas does go down, Jin's not going to quite doing anything, Gangplank goes out in a really weird position, meanwhile the Zonya comes out as the flash to try and finish her off comes Jin, and ending up in a 2 for 1 on the side of ICL coming in there.
The Jin W almost picked up the Orianna at the end of that fight, but just a tad shy. Yeah, no, that Orianna shockwave was really nice. I mean, you dream of getting 4-man shockwaves, but there wasn't enough follow-up, and Imperial still managed to extend their lead. And with Baron's going to be up in 10 seconds, so I think that's going to be the next objective they focus on. They'll push in their lanes, get vision around there, and then just take it.
Certainly that is looking like the case, and as we see the 10k gold lead in 20 minutes, Cambridge has... I would say that Cambridge team outscales in this situation, so it's maybe looking better than last game.
Yeah.
Due to the state of the game, which, I mean, they're still losing at the moment, but they... If they can hold on for another 10 minutes, they will be able to pull it back. The Tristan will start getting more damage, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to. The Zoe at the moment is just picking off too many free kills. No one seems to be able to deal with it. Zoe's dashing back in, dashing away, and instantly getting pretty much a one-hit onto the carries of Cambridge.
And we didn't see it too much because Gangplank hasn't really been fighting.
Oh, the insert comes out to Dear Darling again. That's another flash burn.
Yeah, just a lot of pressure from Imperial at the moment. It's, hard for Cambridge because if they go in there face check and they can get caught by, Sleepy, Trouble Bubble, Bard, or...
Ragnar's coming down, trying to hit the Zoe. Plant burst, and nothing comes out of that one. That would have been amazing if that hit if the Drowsy hit as they were going through the Thresh Lantern, but not quite.
Something interesting is that there's 2 pink wards for Imperial in middle bot side brush and pixel brush for bottom side. I'd prefer if the 2 people who have those pink wards would place new ones around the Baron side, seeing as that's where the main objective focus is going to be for the next few minutes.
That's very, very true, because we're looking at now the vision view for Cambridge, and they've got no vision at all. They've got some very, very safe pulled back defense. They've got 3 wards in their top side jungle, so they can see if they're about to face check someone at red buff. But in terms of Dragon Vision, when we compare this to ICN, they've got a full vision of Cambridge's top side jungle there. And this is good. This is just causing every time anyone from like Devil Pandas walk into the jungle, instantly getting collapsed on by 3 people because they know everything. And how many sweepers have Cambridge got? They've got 1. They need more sweepers. We need to see a sweeper on that Jarvan.
Something that is going well for Cambridge at the moment is that they do have a ward in the Baron.
TV coming to top lane, Engage coming out of the top lane, flash hit, the EQ comes out and the Flay comes on, but the Bardock stops Milky on its tracks. Jin is taken down, the GPL is trying to slow them in their tracks, but there's Lee and a Bard running over the tunnel, stuns them as they go. Is it going to be enough? Longsword trying to get the ball off, meanwhile Zoe Gangplank still in the split
push and bot push.
Flash comes out of Bard escaping the Gragas ult. A good attempt at a play by Cambridge, but you need to get more than 1 kill if you want to translate that into anything.
Exactly. They see the Gragas bot and the Zoe mid, and they say we have to go for something now, which is a good call because either you do or you have to go deal with your lanes. They only get 1 kill, which is unfortunate. Imperial did manage to push up the lanes.
Zoe looking to get the 1v1 play onto the Orianna here. Zoe managing to get the kill in the end, but getting taken down as a result. Milky Door's backing off, trying to kite Yonderon, getting the double heal onto the Gangplank. Now they're picking up these kills. Finally, Yonderon managed to get or secure the kill for Milky Door. Gragas is 1v2ing at the back, and again, ISIL slightly overstaying. Cambridge putting out some good plays, holding on for now, and this is good in the long term.
Yeah. Man, okay, so I think Imperial maybe a bit too greedy there. They sent their top laner and their mid laner to both split push, leaving 3 top, which got caught, and then the split pushers weren't even able to get turrets before Cambridge was done with top, came back down, and then were able to use their numbers advantage from the first kill to pick up some more stuff.
Yeah, you can see the idea there. You have the split push. You put 3 people on the top. You think, okay, we can escape this. Cambridge go, nope. We're gonna put our ball onto Java and we're gonna run, take down the top. The Bard ult is not enough to quite save us. They get 1 kill. Cambridge chase a bit, then immediately turn around. So Cambridge played that pretty much correctly. We have the 2 people from ISO taking the towers, but ISO at that point need to go, okay, we've been outnumbered. We need to back off. That's unfortunate. Cambridge were not in a position to get anything more than a kill there. They couldn't have got the Baron. They're too far behind. But instead, ICL will get greedy and just remain and try and go, no, we're going to try and kill you instead. Kind of flexing, getting a bit cocky on the Zoe there. For good reason, he's getting a lot of free kills.
Yeah, one of the problems for Imperial there was a ward for Cambridge in the Baron pit that Imperial hadn't cleared. They'd cleared a lot of the top side.
They managed to catch out Zoe in the mid lane. A Java knock comes out, trapping Milky Door in there. In fact, is Zoe going to be able to escape? No, the crit comes out of the Milky Door. And as again, kind of flexing, overextending. They've already pushed up. There was no pressure on the map by ICL here. They should be able to turn this into some objective, maybe a tower, or even try a Baron. But it doesn't look like they're going to go for the Baron. Mid tower is what they're aiming for.
Mid push, they'll finally get their first part of the game.
I would have liked the Baron here myself. With a 20-second death time, that's the kind of... I mean, I guess they're not in the late game stage yet, they just want to hold on. Any free kill they get at this point, the Q coming out, the Flay brilliantly blocking, but not in time for the Jin ult. Taking out the fresh in the end there. Bardock coming out, hitting Jarvan and Orion. Are they going to be able to do anything? Gangplank setting up his barrels, flash away from Longsword, and Jarvan just electing to tank it. So it was a 1-4 in the end. Again, if they can hold on to this Baron for a tiny bit longer, Cambridge are going to have a chance in this game.
Yeah, Cambridge has really come back in the last few minutes. It's still a bit more than a 10k gold lead, but it was about a 10k gold lead 5 minutes ago. So they've at least kept it even. So in the last 5 minutes,
kept it even,
gold. Yeah.
And that's sort of what you're looking for at this stage with your scaling Tristana.
Yeah, exactly. So it is going better and better for Cambridge, I'd say.
But what are we going to see if we do get to that late game stage? We will be reliant on Tristana to be able to do all the damage for Cambridge, and we saw Milky Door getting caught out quite a lot last game.
Yeah, and I think most of these kills that Cambridge has been getting in the last few minutes, they haven't been full-blown team fights really. They've usually had a number advantage, and it's been either a pick or a 5v3 or something. So I still would say that probably Cambridge does still win the fights, just from the 10k gold lead they still have. But if Cambridge keeps finding numbers advantages, then they can definitely come back.
And that's the 4th dragon taken on the side of Imperial, and we see them just bullying their way into the top side jungle with the amount of ward placement again. Going to gold view, the ward view, they have full vision. Still, they've managed to consistently keep this up with the 60 wards out of Lee Sin, 70 out of Bard, and only 15 out of the J4. They're setting up the split push again now. Milky Door. Oh, he survived. It's okay. Jin ult's coming out. One sidestep, 2 sidestepped.
Yeah, woods are great, but it also matters where they're placed. The pink in mid-bottom side brush is still there, and it's been there for like 3 or 4 minutes now. I think it really could have been used better somewhere, and no one's been there for a while, so I think it really would have been better placed if that person had just moved it by now.
And now we see ISL trying the siege. Now they should be able to get this top inner tower with the amount of wards they have. This is a very hard one for Cambridge to defend, but the amount of time it's taken to get this one doesn't bode well for the rest of them, unless Cambridge... Yonder run going way too deep there. Why are you trying to defend that? I was just talking about how this is a different one for Cambridge to defend. Milky Door's looking to make a counterplay on this. Bard gets hooked by the Thresh, gets taken in. Not enough to save him now out of the Bard. Dive in, heal comes out of the Milky Door. They're going to the Lee Sin comes back, the exhaust comes out. Orion comes out. They are going to kill the Lee Sin. Wait, he's still surviving. The lifesteal's going to come out. Dear Darling just trying to get down onto the Jin. Running away, he's got no help there. Gangplank barrel comes out. Not enough to finish him off though. Zoe comes out. Dear Darling is going to go down. Oh, the shield comes out just in time. Another hook attempted, but hits the creep. Jin bind just managed to get him in the end. Zoe coming from the back. The Drowsy lands onto Devil Panda. The Orion Shockwave. It's going to be able to get one more, 2 hard hits. There we go. One more down. The shield's going to be able to come out onto the Gangplank. Is it going to be able to get the barrel? Gangplank barrel. I mean, Gragas barrel is actually coming out there. And this was a 3 for 3 and the tower loss. So,
wow.
This was much better than I expected it to go.
Yeah, after the start of that, I thought it was all going downhill for Cambridge after Yonderin had a bit of an overeager engage and got completely melted. But they actually managed to play it quite well. They realized they were getting flanked from behind that turret, so instead they just went full forward and managed to get kill the bot, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, I mean, Cambridge have some fighting spirit, because in this situation, I'm on top lane, we know, look how much vision that ISO has in the top jungle compared to Cambridge. ISO has more vision of the Cambridge is half the map, then they have their own base at this stage. But
We do see in the chat there that that's a lot of items that Jin just bought. He just bought a rapid fire cannon, a last whisper. Gangplank bought a phantom dancer.
yeah.
And Jin also bought a giant slayer. Yeah. So it just like they had a lot of standing gold when they took that fight, which is probably why it was a bit closer than expected, despite
definitely,
the actual gold lead.
In that situation for Cambridge, is there a pick coming out onto the Lee Sin? Ult comes up but misses. And in that situation for Cambridge, I say they've got vision, they've got to fight this inner tower. It's very difficult to hold. Bardock comes out, hitting the Longsword and Dear Darling Fresh and Oriana. Another stun comes onto Longsword. He doesn't have the flash away. The Oriana ult comes out, only gets 2 though. Drowsiness hits the Java just as the ult is going to fall asleep just as he gets the Java ult. As Cambridge falling apart a bit. You haven't hit your power spikes yet. You can't be contesting these kind of things so far at your base. Milkador having to bounce away, and that's a Baron.
Yeah, those are 2 kills, that's Baron, especially because you've got one of them on the jungler, so you don't have to worry about a steal. Should be pretty standard from here. Oh, Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
And
that Baron's
are going to be looking to win this their next 3 or 4 minutes. When you get 35-40 minute markers where Cambridge are going to start outclassing in the team fights, but it doesn't look like they're going to last that long. 15k gold lead in 30 minutes. I'm going to expect them to end the game off this push. Close try.
We still do have the potential of, a great Jarvan Oriana combo if Imperial comes too much. But at the moment, it's Imperial's game to mess up rather than Cambridge's game.
It is indeed. Jarvan, Gangplank's on the top lane, attempting to push into the tower. That does get the tower. Attempt of a hook is going to come out in the redemption.
That's another Zoe redemption.
Thresh be taken so low here. It's looking like Jarvan's looking for the engage. He goes in. Oh, so let's see if the shockwave comes out. The 3-man shockwave. Milkador bounces into the Jarvan now and gets instantly taken out. What are you doing, Milkador? We talked about this last game. Oriana's been taken out, and then Tristana, who's all the damage of Cambridge's team, jumps 1v3 into the middle of a Jarvan ult and instantly gets killed. That is not what you want to be happening. And this is just some misplayed team fights coming out.
Nice footwork by the Thresh, and he will survive it, but it doesn't really make much of a difference at this point. It did start to look really good with the 3-man shockwave.
Great engage with Milkador on the Tristana, bouncing in there. What are you doing?
Yeah. And, well, that's going to be game and series. 2-0 to Imperial, so that means the 4 teams going through to the semi-finals will be 3 Imperial teams and 1 Cambridge team to represent that university.
So we're looking, might be able to get winners after that game, but yeah, it was looking so good for Cambridge at certain points in that game. They could have done a lot better.
Definitely not a complete stomp. There were like a ton of moments where Imperial made a mistake and Cambridge capitalized in both games actually. But yeah, the mechanics, I guess, and general vision control really strong for Imperial in both games. Comes out on top.
And again, the increased teamfight mechanics, especially of that second game, we have Milkador on the Tristana. His job is to stand at the back and deal all the damage. Not quite enough.
And we actually have, I think we'll have an interview with Toby, who's the player subs. I think he was support for Imperial.
Oh, hello.
Oh, you're here. You're here already. Great.
I'm
here already, yes.
Hello, Toby.
Right. Congrats.
Congratulations for the win. And were you expecting it to be a 2-0?
We were, yeah.
So no surprises there.
Right. Anything that you think went a bit differently, because those games were a bit closer than some people might have expected. There were a few times where you took some fights maybe that you shouldn't have. Obviously, in the end, you came away with the win, but it was close. So anything in particular?
Yeah, our draft was really bad. So
In which game?
Both games. In the first game, we...
It's your Nunu. Seems okay.
Yeah, but we had no engage on the team, really. So we had to have a Zir engaging every fight, which sort of worked a few times.
Worked when it landed.
Yeah, it sort of worked out, but I don't know. We were forced to, I don't know, take some... well, we couldn't skirmish at all, basically. So that was the problem with the team. We had totally team fight oriented comp, so our skirmishing was totally useless. So the second game we just went full out skirmish, which is obviously not a good team comp. but
Yeah,
it was
you
fun.
still said you didn't like the draft for the second game. Any big reasons why not?
So everyone just picked whatever they wanted.
Okay.
So like Jin is basically awful right now. uh, and then what did we have? We had Lisa in jungle. We never played
did.
that. Gangplank top. Actually, Gangplank worked out really well, and Zoe is always busted, so we picked that as well.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah,
So
you guys.
we had full knowledge that if this game went late, we would lose.
Oh well.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were
there was-
talking about that on stream as we're hoping that. Oh, well, I was hoping that Cambridge was going to be able to.
I was starting to
hold
hope
on.
Cambridge was going to come
We're
back.
hoping they're
you know.
going to
I
hold
love
on.
an underdog
And
story.
then we see the Tristana jumping in to the middle of the fight at the end there. But I want to
Yeah.
ask you, what was the deal with the Heimeninger ban? Was he that scary in the first game?
The problem was Jez was a bit frustrated that he didn't get to play the game. So, like, he had to go bot to do anything. So yeah, it was just like tired of the uninteractive lane, so we just banned it so Jez could have a fun lane.
He did get quite a few kills for Asylum though. I think he ended up 6-0, and he
Yeah,
got the
he was
double.
monstrous. He didn't even get his passive used once.
Yeah, 6-0. Yeah, true. Actually, not capping out on the full value of the champion there, not using the
Yeah,
passive.
no, it's terrible.
Yeah, bad player. Okay, cool. And do you know who you play next after this win?
So yeah,
we
the
should be
next round will
playing
be currently
currently
entitled,
untitled.
which is my team.
Oh, all right.
Versus
Well,
Monkeys, the match of
have
the
a showdown.
century.
all right. Well, good luck to you guys there, both of you. Hopefully that's a.
Cheers.
Yeah. Is there anything, you guys? I don't know, in terms of the execution of fights or how you played the macro game that you think you might want to change, or do you think it was mostly good and that not too much to mix up until the next game?
Yeah, I think like we're all a bit rusty.
Yeah.
We've played a lot cleaner than this in the past. Also, I think we could actually think about picks and bans beforehand, try and get a sensible comp, because I don't think currently Untitled would let us get away with such a team comp.
Yeah,
especially
damn right.
especially in the second game.
Wreck you.
Yeah, but I think mostly it comes down to team composition, making more sense, and I thought like most of our like vision control and map rotations were pretty respectable.
I don't know if you know, having just come out of the game, but from seeing from the caster's point of view, your vision in both games was one of your really strong points. So, well done on that.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah,
we focused
you
a lot
and
on
your
that.
jump,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the noticeable differences. All right.
Cool.
I'd just like to give a
thanks,
shout
Shane,
out
for
to Johnny98 in chat, who says Pickhead best caster EU. Thank you very much there.
Yeah, definitely right. Yeah, so thank you very much for the interview. Good luck with your games next week. We'll see how they go. And yeah, is that wrapping it up for us here?
That is wrapping it up for us here. That is the end of the first round of the MMOCircles sponsored tournament between Cambridge and Imperial College London. The next match, I believe, will be next Tuesday. Someone correct me on this. I think it's next Tuesday, about 6 or 7 p.m. And that will be between I See a Win and the other. Let's get the tournament.
Extra thick. I think it's IC Win and Extra thick. IC Win is my team, so I think I can.
We have
confirm that is on
IC
Tuesday.
Win versus Extra Thick in the quarterfinals, and at some point in the future there will be IC Monkeys versus currently entitled. Semi-finals even.
Yep.
We'll be back there next week, hoping for some even closer matches than this one. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.